Welcome to the Fat-Fueled Family podcast, where every week we talk about things like nutrition, training,
how to live a healthy and active lifestyle with your little ones, peaceful parenting, education,
and of course, mindset.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Keto Counterculture, at FatFueledMom, and at FatFueledKids, and search for Fatfueled Family on YouTube.
To stay up to date with everything we're doing, sign up with your email at www.fatfueled.family and check out our blog for workouts, meal ideas, and all the other cool stuff we love to talk about.
Don't forget to hit subscribe.
All right, welcome to the Fat-Fueled Family podcast. My name is Danny, and I'm joined by my wife, Maura, and we are here today. She's sick of me not introducing her, so I'm introducing her. And on a related note, we have been on this mission of trying to re-record the intro because she can't stand it every time she hears the podcast.
It's honestly the worst, guys. The actual worst. And it's funny because Danny's usually the peppy one. And I don't know what happened to him that day, but
I was just being me. I was just being me. This is how I talk. I talk like this all the time. And you were like, "What's wrong with you? You gotta get it. You know, don't forget to subscribe." And the
actual, I'm sure a lot of people can relate though, because it's kind of that same. Except Danny. Danny loves listening to himself. Can I tell you? Well, that most of the time when he has his headphones on, he's listening to himself. It doesn't help the situation. He wants to make sure it came out right, he says. It doesn't help the situation that someone recently told me that I have a really good podcasting voice. And so now he's even more obsessed with listening to himself. But anyways, unlike Danny, besides Danny is not part of this crowd, but I feel like most people, it's like, you know, when you record like your voicemail and like you can't, like, I've heard a lot of people say it, like you can't stand to hear it. Like you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm so annoying. Well, it's the same, but it's the same, but like times a million when it comes to the podcast, because I'm like extra peppy. And I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm not really like that. So I don't know. I must have been like hyper caffeinated that day. And I just want you guys to know that I've cut back on my caffeine intake. Well, significantly. Look,
here's the thing. I just don't get hung up on these things. You know, like when I record my voicemail note, if it's not absolutely perfect, I'm just like, that works. It's, you know.
That's different though. This is like possibly thousands of people hearing it every week. And then every time I listen to it, it's just on whatever, guys. Well, it's going to change soon. Please, Darian, help me.
It's going to change. My cousin might record it. And if he does, it's awesome because he's just so Miami, and
he has to do it for us.
Yeah, he's like, do you want me to go theatrical with it? Because he owns a film company, and I knew he was gonna get all crazy about it. I just want him to like. I said no. I said just be yourself. Want to be yourself. Just be yourself, but definitely you gotta add the don't forget to subscribe at the end.
Don't forget to hit subscribe. Yeah. But yeah, he's great. He could get theatrical. He could do whatever he wants. We trust him. I trust him when it comes to creativity, but I also love, and you guys will hopefully hear this because hopefully he does do this, but he sounds like he's always smiling. Yeah. But because he is always smiling when he talks. And he's also Miami, so gotta have that Miami twang.
Super Miami, because that's what we are. We're Miami. We are right now. I'm taking over the ketogenic.com Instagram, and so we're filming ourselves just so that we can have a little bit of footage that we can put on the story so that people can see what we do, people who may not follow us. And I'm really digging it because we got the phone pointing at us. And so this is just...
Can we just upload that on YouTube from the phone?
Well,
can you delete it? Doesn't it record for an hour?
We could do that if we sync the audio, but we didn't sync the audio. So...
What do you mean sync the audio?
Well, we never clapped to sync the audio, so Chris would have a hard time putting this on a YouTube, but whatever, we'll try to see with this one. It's going to be long. I don't know how long these videos are. They might be an hour.
We don't have to record this whole thing.
Yeah. Either way, we think that this is just such an appropriate time for this episode because it's the season of giving, and I don't want to sound like we're getting on a soapbox, even though we kind of always, we don't come off the soapbox. It's kind of what we do, but you know, we just want to bring it back to looking at giving in a different way, looking at gifts in a different way. So this show is going to be titled Know Your Gifts, Share Your Gifts. All right. And so we're going to talk about that. But first, we wanted to talk a little bit about something that Maura and I have been talking about for a few months now. And
it's kind of off topic.
Yeah, it's off topic to the show, but not off topic to what we do.
To what we do, yeah. And it's kind of, I don't want it to be like a full-on rant, like in a negative way.
No, it's just an encouragement and redirect yourself if you're not going in the right direction. That's all.
Yeah, and this is a way that you can help people by not throwing these things like in their face, I guess.
Well, the thing is with other diets that are not like a low carb diet, like a ketogenic diet, suffering is inherent to the diet. Like when you're restricting your calories, no one's ever like, this is so fun, I'm gonna go eat another salad and a 4-ounce chicken breast, like nobody's happy about that. But with ketogenic diets, with the fat being high, you can eat really tasty foods. And I understand that as a lifestyle, the ketogenic lifestyle is super enjoyable, it's super easy. But then at the same time, if you are trying to get healthier, then maybe don't, make everything this delicious recipe that is like a ketogenic version of all the comfort foods. Like we're not.
And we totally understand in the beginning, like, yeah, it might be necessary. And
we did a lot of recipes.
Did the same thing in the beginning. And I feel like for the most part, people will get to that point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like everyone has to start off that way with making their recipes and stuff. But I guess, I don't know. I just hope that everyone just tries to evolve to the point to like, I truly don't want to brag. I'm not bragging. I've suffered my entire life.
Yeah. And that's a negative.
Entire life.
It's affected your resting metabolic rate.
I've been literally starving myself my whole life because I never had a good relationship with food. And so I've gotten to this point now that people might be like, oh, it must be nice. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This has been one day. Like it just happened. Like,
the other thing that we talk about all the time is that people aren't seeing, that you're at the gym every single day. And, it's a process. You train hard for like an hour and a half. You hit the sauna for another 30 minutes. And don't hate on her for doing that because that's her only time off. And, luckily we have Lifetime where the kids are enjoying themselves and they can do their homeschool stuff and be taken care of while Maura trains. So, it is this thing that we've been doing and we've been doing the right thing. And I'm proud of us. We should be proud of that because it also extends into our children, the way they have, evolved into eating in a way that's really healthy all the time to where, an apple is like this huge treat or, some sort of low carb paleo food that they can eat is actually a treat when they're eating most of the time, animal protein and, maybe some trace carbs, and they do great.
Yeah. And the gym stuff, that's like the physical, but I just mean like I swear I want to become like a food therapist or something. Cause I can't tell you how many people, okay, for example, I did that thing on my story today where I ask questions, where people ask questions and someone asked me, what do you eat when you're craving something sweet? Oh, yeah. And I responded, I don't crave sweet things anymore. And yeah, it must be nice, Maura. No. You don't understand.
Put in the work.
I've been starving my whole life. And then also suffering. So now it's like one of those things where I actually don't even want it anymore. And it's like, it's taken a while to get there. You have to put in the work. You have to eat foods that are nutrient dense. It's not even about keto or paleo or whatever. Because someone asked me today again on the questions, is keto safe for pregnancy? And I'm like, it depends what kind of keto you're talking about. There's a lot of ways to keto.
Yeah. If you're eating, if you're not having enough protein and you're not eating
hot
real
dogs
foods
and lilies all day.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Yeah, hot dogs and lilies. That sounds terrible.
But that's keto.
Yeah,
that is keto.
It is keto.
And that's the truth. So,
and it's nice to fall back on those things if you had to. Like if we're at the movies and I am just like, oh, I want to eat something. Fine, I'll have a hot dog without a bun.
But that's
not
different.
The best food.
Yeah, that's different. And you can have that hot dog and like move on.
Yeah.
And just really quick, I just want to say something because it's like really kind of bothers me at this point. And it's like kind of a pet peeve when someone asks me if a food is keto. Nothing is keto. Okay. Ketosis is a state.
Yeah.
You are either in ketosis or you're not in ketosis. Danny could probably eat, I would bet up to 150 carbs maybe.
Maybe even safely, let's say 100.
Safely 100. And he would still be in ketosis. So for him, it's keto. I probably cap out at around 40 maybe. I don't know. I've never honestly tested
and
it.
Also, let me just say that because this is a conversation I had with Mike Mutzel, Metabolic Mike, when we had the podcast. If I'm talking about something that is interesting to me or something that people could possibly try, it doesn't mean that I do it. I'm still over here eating mostly meat. Like today, the menu is meat, that's some cheese,
We keep it very simple.
Yeah. So most of the time I'm eating meat, and then some days I'll eat, some veggies or maybe some fruit or something. And that's why I share my food, because I think, first of all, people get ideas. And second of all, it's good for people to see what consistency does. When you eat consistently and you eat the right things consistently, it becomes easier. And if you're giving yourselves little slivers of things that are hyper palatable or super sweet, like with these sweeteners, you make it harder. You make this transition harder. You make the lifestyle harder. Even if you are keto and you've been keto forever, it's okay to do it, every now and then. Like we do it on the holidays. We have like keto treats and things like that. But
I can't lie. I didn't even do it this holidays. I can't even lie. I tried. I actually tried, and I was like, gosh, I truly don't even want to eat this right now. Can I have another bite of steak? I'm proud of myself, because I had one plate, and my plate consisted of, it was like ribeye, fried turkey, and then some roast pork. And then I did have like some ketos, like some sides.
I had a tiny thing of
my mom's. What did your sister make? It was really good. I tried the cauliflower mac and cheese.
Yeah, it was like a dessert sampler that I had. My uncle made a keto mousse, had some of that. My sister made a keto blueberry cobbler.
That was good. I had a little bit of that.
And then of course I had Maura made Carrie Brown's pumpkin pie squares, and that was that. And guess what? We had the best Thanksgiving ever because we spent time talking with our family that we don't get to see that often. That cousin we spoke about earlier, that's like my brother. How close we were. When we lived in Miami, we were always together.
Yeah.
So, we don't get to see each other that much anymore. But why don't you open up the post from Anna, and we can just, I want you to quote it real quick.
Maybe we should have kept it anonymous.
No, it doesn't matter. You'll see our friend Anna.
Well, she shared it, so.
She shared, and she'll be on the podcast soon, and you guys.
We can't wait. She's gonna blow your mind. She's gonna have to be on the podcast for multiple things because there's
she's been a mentor to us.
A lot to learn from her.
Yeah, she's been a mentor to us with the peaceful parenting and the homeschooling, and we've been a mentor to her with the keto diet.
Yeah, and she's killing it.
Yeah.
So anyways, she posted this post. She's also one of those people that
very
says
snarky.
Whatever you're thinking. Like, I wish I could say this, but I don't want to stir the pot. But then she'll post it and I'm like, yes, thank you. And then I'll share it like, haha, it wasn't me though, but it's kind of what I thought. So anyway, she shared this post the other day and I was honestly laughing, but it's not that funny because I can totally understand where she's coming from. So she does, whenever she talks about keto, she says keto baby. And that's how she starts all her keto posts. And it says, I have an addiction to sweets and I need support as I exercise self-discipline and take back the power I have given my mouth. This is an addiction and I need support as I struggle to overcome it. Keto Group. In this group, we'll enable you by relentlessly posting recipes made with sugar substitutes so you don't have to struggle with your addiction in any meaningful way. In fact, we'll actually help you wallow in your addiction to sweets by continually posting pictures of sweets made with sugar substitutes and congratulating you for being keto.
So that is just, look, it's just truth. A lot of the time is not a pretty thing, when
there's some offense on there.
I mean,
there's gonna be.
There is, but it's just like everything that we're doing is not exactly the norm. And it's why we kind of have to shout a little bit louder because there are plenty of other places you can go to talk about those things and be fine. But what we're saying is that it hasn't worked for us. For me, I don't do well.
You know what? This is a really good alien story. I think I'm going to try to make it a religion and try to get people to pay me for this.
So the whole point of us bringing the Scientology up is that, there's this level that you get that's clear. And it's when things are better and you're operating at your full potential. And that's like the level that you want to get at with keto. But you're not going to get there if you make it harder for yourself by adding these little indulgences that are not. And I'm
we're guilty guys.
as anyone.
We literally stopped just a few months ago, but
yeah, and the indulgence thing could be fat. Like I enjoy some higher fat days where I can eat some extra fat, but instead of having a fat bomb that has sweetener in it, just let's do chocolate or like dark chocolate or something like that with maybe some ghee or something. So that's just, we wanted to start with that because we wanted to just put that little bug in your ear to think about eating the right way and making the right decisions and being honest with yourself and just really evaluating, am I doing the best thing for my body? If you're just like in this maintenance mode and it's the end of the year, I totally get that. But if you're trying to get better, that's just something to think about. Try to eat some real food. Try to stay away from the sweeteners, which really they are pretty sweet. They're much sweeter than sugar. So,
and we're gonna, because we want to help you guys, and like honestly, I just feel like we've been going. Me especially, and Danny's come a long way too, because Danny is the epitome. Like if you look up in the dictionary, emotional eater or stress eater, it's Danny. Like he will stress eat himself into an oblivion, into like a coma.
Look at Dean's accident. I gained like 14 pounds or something.
I've been a little bit more strict throughout my life, so I can have a little bit more self-control, but then it's still like the restriction and like that's just the healthy relationship around food. So we're gonna definitely be doing an episode soon around mindful eating and emotional eating, and we really want to give you some tips.
Yeah, because it makes a difference. It really does make a difference when you practice mindful eating, and it's not about can I eat this or can I eat that? It's
why am I here?
Why do I think I need to eat? What am I looking for?
What am I looking for in here?
Yeah, like
sometimes it's like just it becomes a habit, guys.
It's a habit.
The power
Mindless
of habit. And I get questions literally daily in my DMs about how do I stop binging? How do I stop mainly binging? Because everyone can be can control themselves for a period of time and then they binge. Like that's what I did. That's what we all do. So look out for that. It's gonna be cool.
So today, the actual content of this episode is knowing your gifts and sharing your gifts. And the jump off for this conversation started when we were on our way back from South Florida on Thanksgiving, and I wanted to play something for Maura that my lawyer Chris Lurch sent to me, and it was about making culture, and it was in the context of Christians making culture. So it was a Christian speaker, and if we're allowed to share his speech, we will share it because it's a great speech and it's only like 20 minutes or less. But he was talking about making culture, and he was talking about when you the problem with, and then this can be applied to anyone, but the problem with a lot of people is that they want to make culture, but they can either critique culture. So if you're critiquing culture, like you're like a critique of it, a critic of it, and you're just saying, okay, this is what I don't agree with, that doesn't do well. Or if you want to analyze culture, that also doesn't do as well because it's not going to change things. Now, how do you make culture? Well, first of all, you have to assume that we live in a world of abundance. And so if you think that that person is the owner of that whatever it is that you think that you're good at, and you don't want to go into that because someone owns that already, that's the wrong way of looking at it. That's a mindset of scarcity. And when you have a mindset of abundance, you realize that there's room for all of us. Like we've said this a million times, we all have our own unique gifts. Even if two of us are saying the same thing, Maura and I will have different audiences, or people in our audiences will resonate with them differently, right?
Right, because we're two different people.
Yeah, so we say it in different ways.
Everyone has their own perceptions of us.
Yeah, so that's true for sure. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to identify your gifts, because we all have our own gifts. We have the freedom to add to this world, and it can enrich us financially. And that's one of the things that obviously I'm sensitive to it, having quit my day job, just a few months ago. But the downfall of having this abundance mindset is when you pervert it and you think that you can extract everything from this world. And it's kind of the example of the people who are were giving the subprime mortgage loans before the housing crash, or the people who were taking the loans. They thought, I live in a world of abundance. I'm going to be okay when that interest rate goes up in a few years. I'll be in a higher level. That is not what we're talking about. We are talking about using your gifts to create culture and to create something bigger that doesn't involve, it doesn't have to always involve you just making a bunch of money. Sure, a lot of the things with the gifts that we have, we can do very well, I think, but we have to make sure that we're being honest with ourselves. Right. The first thing we have to do is eliminate fear. All right. And we don't want to immediately focus on financial gain. One of the things that it's still important, obviously, because people need to make a living, and people shouldn't get upset at others for doing that. Because I've noticed that that's like a thing. Like, people get upset. Mad at, like, getting upset at people making financial gain or whatever, but they deserve it. Well, yeah, if a lot of the time they do, then don't get me wrong, there's a lot of ways.
A lot of people don't, but that's not up to us to judge. Yeah,
I've learned of a lot of ways to make a quick buck, and I'm just like, sometimes it blows my mind that people can do this. But remember when we had Mike Osuna, he talked about
Illuminati. Remember yesterday I got a
got a DM from a
DM. It was just someone's followed me, and I went to their profile, and like all the posts were like, just join the Illuminati. We'll give you $500 million, literally $500 million. I'm like, cool.
Amazing. Yeah,
here's my address.
Hey everybody, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let you guys know about a company we've been a fan of for over a year now. This is a really cool company because, number one, they're convenient. They make some delicious products, and they were also so cool when Dean had the accident. They sent us a great care package. The boys love their products. We love their products. They're convenient, and that's Real Good Foods. Real Good Foods has chicken crust pizzas, cauliflower pizzas. They have these awesome enchiladas that the boys love. Good products, low carb, keto friendly. And if you see the comparison compared to actual other packaged foods, there's no comparison. So they have a store locator. They're available at places like Walmart and supermarkets. I've also seen them even at Vitamin Shop, which is pretty cool. And if you wanted to shop for them locally, you can look at the store locator online. But we have a code, and it's FATFUELEDFAM, and that'll give you $10 off your order. So if you're in a time pinch and you don't have time to cook yourself a nice home cooked meal, definitely look into Real Good Foods. They get the Fat Fueled Family seal of approval. And without any further ado, back to our show. So of course, your immediate focus is not financial gain. Remember, it's the passion and it's the profit. You start with your passion, and along with your passion should be your individual gifts. What are the specific problems that you can uniquely solve with your gifts? Identify those gifts. So what we wanted to talk about when we talk about knowing our gifts and sharing our gifts in this season of giving, there's a lot that we can do to serve our communities and to serve the world and serve everyone around us. But we have to know what our gifts are. And so, let's give some examples. Why don't you give your example of, kind of what your gift is and what my gift is?
Okay, so I'm basically a psychic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. Kind of. I don't know. You're
a very good judge of character too, but that's part of your gift.
I'm pretty intuitive, which is about a lot of things. Intuitive about, I'm really good at intuitive eating. I'm really in tune with my own body. I'm really intuitive about picking up social cues and characteristics in other people. I feel like I should be a therapist or something, because I'm just like, can I tell you your whole life story and like what you need to do right now? Because I know what's going on. I know why you're doing the things you're doing.
Well, a lot of it comes from
also experience.
You have a lot of empathy too, because you've been there. You've been through quite a bit in your life.
I've always had so much empathy, though. I feel like I was like young. I feel like even as a child, I was crying at commercials. Like I felt like, like feeling people's feelings.
Yeah, and it's been very helpful for me because we'll be watching something together, and I'll be like, I can't believe this, and she'll be like, well, you don't know what their situation. I'm like, whoa, you're right, that's true. I didn't think of that.
It's just his DNA. It's not his problem. It's fine. I'm literally never going to let him live this down.
Don't you remember? Let's not forget the other day I cried.
That's your son, I would hope so.
Yeah, I cried when it came to like thinking about my boys.
It ends there though. So if you get on his bad side, he does not. I promise you, Danny is the fastest at being like, nope. I think dead to me.
I think it helps. I think it does help. Like, for instance, our relationship, I really do feel I was put here to be the person to protect her because she's the worst at that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really good at setting boundaries.
Exactly.
Like,
there's a reason for that.
People know that, you know, there's a boundary they can't go past with me.
I'm the worst.
With her, she's like this silent sufferer.
Silent doormat over here.
Yeah. And, you know, so my I guess gift, and I feel weird saying that it's a gift, but we all have gifts. So it's not like I'm being conceited about this. My gift is that I can communicate well, you know, and that just comes from my inherent like of communicating. You know, I love being with people. You know, it took me a day to really disconnect when I was hunting with Robert and Brian. The first day we were up in that tree, I was talking quite a bit with Robert.
I heard that part. I was like, oh man, Danny's talking his ear off.
But he was talking back. You know, I was, you know, it took me a day to really disconnect and be happy with being quiet, you know, and so those gifts have served us well. And I think they've helped us serve others well.
Can I say something really quick about like, none of us should feel bad, because it reminds me of Coop Blackson, and it's like the world needs you. Yeah. It doesn't, there's a, you know, I mean, everyone believes what they want, but for me, it just helps that there is a reason. And like, I was made a certain way because that's what the world needs. It doesn't need someone else. It needs you, and your gifts were given to you for a specific reason. And that's also what is going to bring you joy. So, and that's a way that you can help others. You know, if we all used our gifts, I mean, the world would be a much better place. And it comes with knowing your gifts. And that's why it's so important for us that our children know who they are and know their gifts. And that's like the main reason why we homeschool. And that I'm not saying that you can't learn that in school. But it's just going to be a lot of, you know, you have to just be really focused as a parent.
Really involved.
Really very much involved. To just make sure your children are developing their unique gifts. Yeah.
And that's like one of our biggest goals for our two boys is we've had these conversations, and I think we've mentioned this on our education episode where we had these conversations about, okay, what's wrong with the world? And then why could that be? And one of the reasons why people are just unhappy is that they don't spend enough time exploring who they are and what they love when they're a child, and then when they get older,
they're used to it.
They don't know anymore. They don't know who they are. Like, who am I? I mean, I'm an engineer, but is that your identity? You know, or you know, what do you love? What makes your heart skip a beat? And so, I wanted to mention the Apple commercial. Did you ever end up seeing it?
I did, of course, and I cried.
Did you cry? Of course you cried. So it's this, I think it's called Know Your Gifts.
It's called Know Your Gifts.
Because we were going to, or Share Your Gifts.
It's called Share Your Gifts.
Because we were going to talk about knowing your gifts.
Can I say something really quick? It literally popped up because I listened to my music on Apple, and Apple shares all types of media. So like, as soon as I opened my Apple music that one day at the gym, it was the first little screenshot, and it said Share Your Gifts, and I was like, oh, this is what he's talking about. And I watched it right there, crying in the locker room.
It's an animated commercial, and it's this female who's typing at her computer, just a little bit frustrated. It looks like she's trying to write things, maybe they're stories, maybe they're poems, who knows, and she's frustrated because she thinks that it's crap, you know. Useless, yeah. So she keeps like, it's either a computer or a typewriter, and so she keeps taking the papers and putting them in this little box, and her dog is just sitting next to her, just kind of sad because he sees that she's sad, and she goes to her job and she's this chef, and then she comes back home and she writes again, and it's kind of this cycle, but she never releases any of these things. And then one fateful night, she's the windows open, and the locket on the box, the dog knocks it over, and the papers fly out through the window, and she's like freaking out, like, no, my papers, that people are gonna see them, oh no. And it ends up like in the hands of all these people, like, who are skating at an ice rink or something, and they're all like reading it and smiling. I get goosebumps just thinking about it, because gosh, man, like, I was talking to my mom about this morning, like, my parents worry about me, you know, they're worried. They're like, you know, how are you going to do this? You know, you were doing so well, and how are you going to do this? And I'm just over here, like, walking to the gym in this beautiful morning. And I'm just like, Mom, I wake up every morning and I do what I love. Don't get me wrong. I don't stop. You know, it goes from consult to meeting to this to that. I do not stop, but I love what I do. And, you know, I want that for other people. And I think that, you know, I got other people now messaging me like, you're going to kill me. My wife's going to kill me. You're making me think about these things. And, you know, I'm sorry to all the wives out there or to all the husbands whose wives are doing this to you, who say they want to start this,
whose wives are doing this to you, the husbands, you mean?
Yeah. Or what'd you say?
You said whose wives are doing this. No, I know. We all know what you meant.
So, you know.
Hey, it could be the wife.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Like it could be the wife where, you know, the wife is the one, the husband is the one who's, you know, he may be in his sweet spot and the wife wants to get there. And so, you have to dedicate some time to yourself and to exploring what you love. I never knew that I loved hunting, and now I know that I loved hunting, and I want to be outdoors too. Like I want to do all of these things. They wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't quit my job. And I'm not saying this is not a quit your job episode.
No, don't quit your job. Like, don't do that. It's Christmas.
You need to put food on the table. Yeah. It's Christmas time, and you know, relax. Even if you're not buying your kids a ton of gifts like us, you got to buy your mom a gift, and you got to put food on the table. But
this is a perfect segue though for perception, because maybe your parents have a different perception of what they think you want or what you need to be successful.
Yeah, their perception of success for you, which may be in the scope of their perception.
And that's fine, because the reason they have those perception is for a reason, and you don't have to think that hard to come up with that reason. You know, they're from Cuba. To them, it's like, you're ridiculous. You live in this country that's like, you know, we
came here for you. We came here for you to do the thing.
For you to do the thing and go to the college and the Ivy League and to go get, you know, like, no, what are you doing? You're ruining it all. Yeah. But really, it's all about perception. And, you know, yes, money can make your life easier. It definitely can. That's for sure. We have experienced having more than enough. We've experienced not, you know, we're living paycheck to paycheck.
We've experienced using cash advance.
Yeah, we've experienced like literally like debt, trying to like get cash advances to put gas and get groceries, and then
using
we've had
checks.
Yeah, using checks, and like
this was not
knowing
that
they
ago.
take days to hit the bank. Not that many
years ago.
Yeah, this is not that many years ago. To like last year or like the year before last, like the last 2 years where you were killing it at Bayer, Turks and Caicos, like just, you know, way excess. But either way, we all have to just realize like a little fact, which is, I mean, even the poor people in this country live richer than poor people in other countries. Do you understand what I'm saying? Poor example. People here can still have iPhones.
Yeah. But what about? But
it's not just that; it's also the perception. Yeah. So
why don't you give 2 examples of people that you know? Because we were talking about this, people that you know, and the difference between, you know, their perceptions and how that affects the life that they've lived.
Well, so let's take someone who doesn't have a lot of money per se, but has a lot of experiences, has been a lot of places. One of the happiest people I've ever known. And it's just, that's rich to me.
Yeah. That person has traveled and they've never needed money to travel. And you honestly,
you think you need money to travel? Well, I know someone that has proven that away. So,
and then what would be the other example?
Just, well, I don't know how to explain it though.
So I'll explain it. Yeah. That way, you know, no one gets whatever. So there could be that other person, which is probably a lot of us, because the way the culture is in this country. But it's
the culture. Yes.
Yeah, the culture in this country is that you need to...
Which is why I don't blame...
You need to have your insurance. You need to make that bi-weekly paycheck, and you need to do this, and you need to save your money. And I'm not saying don't save your money.
No, we save money.
We save money. You know, my mom this morning was like, "This is crazy. You're making a third of what you were making before, and you're doing fine." And I said, "Yeah, Mom, because we've just realized that we don't need a lot of things. When you do have money and when you have more money, it does buy peace of mind, but you find ways to be wasteful." And
absolutely,
I'm not the best person at being frugal when I have lots of money. I'm still learning how to be more frugal. But you know, it's nice.
Sometimes you're not like that when you don't have money. You're like, I need it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know though.
But I don't buy myself like things that are like, flashy or anything like that. Sometimes it's either
we went years without getting birthday gifts. And
she's
Christmas
talking
gifts.
about the Oura ring that I got myself for Christmas when I got a discount on an Oura ring. Come on. Come on. I got you some sneakers that were similar price. So
that's okay. I didn't need them.
But yeah, like this is there's this difference, and the one person you would think like they're so much better off financially, but they're so much more stressed, like and when you are living with this perception of this is an abundant world.
It's a scarcity perception, though.
It is that scarcity perception. It stresses you out. So you have to find your gifts. And when one of the things that you can do, it was mentioned in the talk about making culture. That is that you should when you really spend some time thinking about the things that you love, and not only do you love them, but you're pretty good at them. Share that with 3 close people. 3 people that you really can confide in. And if it gets, and obviously this is going to be people that, have your best interest in heart, and that aren't going to be tainted by this culture, that are going to just automatically shut you down because sometimes it may be unconventional. And once you share it with them, then share it with 12 people, a slightly larger group of friends that you can also confide in, maybe a little bit less, but it's past that first test. And then you work towards sharing it with like 120 people. That may be your Facebook friends. Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing something. Who's interested in buying some of my bracelets that I love to do? I'm thinking of Desmond. That's just an example. And so you go along and you, it's pretty amazing when you think about it, the opportunity that exists. I don't know how it is in other countries, but I do know that in this country, you have a lot of opportunity. You really do.
A lot.
Yeah.
And can I say something?
Yeah.
I almost throw my money at my friends who follow their dreams.
Oh yeah.
I almost throw it. I think I bought so many things that I honestly didn't even use, but it was because I wanted to support them.
Yeah, like we get super happy when we see friends that are like,
opening an Etsy shop,
doing
whatever it is, whatever they sell, succulents, like felt succulents. I'm like, how much? I don't care. Make it. I need this.
We have a friend who makes invites to special events, and she made
those invites were sick.
She made Dean's birthday party invites, and he wanted a Goonies birthday. She made a freaking treasure map.
That was better made than my Whirlpool dryer. Can I tell you?
Yeah, my Whirlpool dryer is not well made at all. So.
It's not. It lasted 2 years. Just when the warranty, they knew that. They tested that warranty out. They're like, when is this thing gonna fall apart?
And now it's making all types of noise this is a brand new dryer.
And that just goes to show, like, when you do buy from a small business like that, you're going to get what you paid for. It's going to cost you more, but you're going to get what you paid for.
Yeah, you are. And it's just that sweat equity that they have, and that passion. When you have that and you put that behind something, it's just like the keto brick, watching the keto brick grow from Robert and Crystal, doing this stuff in their kitchen, to a commercial kitchen where they're pumping out bricks all day. They're literally living across the street from the warehouse where the bricks are being made. This is huge. This is pretty awesome. like watching them, and it just continues to grow.
It was an idea. Yeah. Do you remember when it was an idea?
It was originally something that he did for himself. He needed something that, like a large fat bomb, basically, that he can eat while he's doing his prep. That was shelf stable.
Because fat bombs melt. You can't take them anywhere.
Yeah. And
it's genius. That's why it's doing so well.
Now it's a business that is, it's a very unique product that.
Well, you guys know you could barely get your hands on them on a launch. You better go in there.
Gone in 12
5
hours.
minutes, you're done. Like
10,000 this week on Wednesday. Yesterday,
10,000.
10,000. Another 10,000 coming up on Sunday. So that is pretty amazing. That's. They're scaling up slowly but surely. The word is spreading, and this could be you. But you quit.
This could be you, but you tripping. You tripping. You scared.
No. I mean, we all get scared. It is
though. We all have those fears.
Yeah.
We all have those fears because we live in a culture that is fear based.
Yeah.
And I can do a whole podcast on fear mongering.
Yeah. That's of course it informs our parenting. It informs our education choices.
Everything is fear based. Just look at Facebook. It'll tell you what to be scared about.
Yeah.
It'll tell you the next recall. It'll tell you like the next murder and whatever. It's whatever. You're going to be scared about something.
Yeah.
It'll tell you.
In this Christmas season and this giving season, this holiday season, what are a few examples that people can do? I have one in mind right away, but what are some things that people can do to share their gifts with others?
Well, like specifically?
Yeah, just some examples.
I mean, I can give an example. Like, let's say you know how to sew. Yeah. I mean, it's just not going to be hard for you to find a place or a shelter or somewhere. Like, sew some blankets or something. Go distribute them. Yeah,
or even what about like just random acts of kindness?
Or just random acts of kindness.
It's funny because we call them random acts of kindness, but we schedule them and we try to do them.
Well, they can be random. Sometimes they just pop up. You know, like Desmond's really good. Desmond was outside picking up trash the other day.
Oh yeah, in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
ask your kids what they would like to give. This isn't about
that's something we've done this year.
The giving season, not so much a receiving, and we've kind of made it about receiving our culture.
Yeah.
Should we talk about our giveaway? By the time this comes out, our giveaway should be flowing.
Oh, yeah. Good. I'm glad we can talk about it.
Yeah. So you've probably heard by now if you are up to date with our blog and our YouTube and stuff, but we're running right now a pretty amazing giveaway. That involves like training, coaching, some companies we love. You can talk about that.
Yeah, so there's Peterson's Farms is going to be giving stuff away. Bunker Hill's going to be giving stuff away. Keto Bricks, F-Bomb will be giving gift cards.
Love it.
And we will be giving 2 months of online coaching with me, the full deal, meal prep, weekly macro and meal prep changes, customized training plans, and as well as our Fatfueledfamily program.
Or any program that you'd like from our...
Yeah, but that Fatfueledfamily program, you're going to want that because that's greater than a typical program because it's looking at everything. It's looking at, and it's got a lot of good tips where families are still, people are using our 1 hour consults to hire me to try to tell them, what we've learned from doing it with our family.
Yeah.
Whereas they wouldn't have had to do that if the program was out already. So there is a demand for a program like that.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
all the info and like the details are going to be on our blog by this point. By the time this comes out, it will be on our blog.
Yeah.
Fatfueled.family. And all the details on how to enter will be there because we're not going to be it's not, typical tag a friend fashion on IG. We wanted it to be way more personal, and for it to go to someone who really needs it.
Explain, kind of how people do that because that's, like we said, it'll be out. People will have read the blog.
Yeah. So, if you're interested, you go to the blog and it's going to be entries through our email, right? It's you will be either nominating yourself, your family, or a family that you know, or someone that you know that you think could really appreciate and use this gift. And tell us their story a little bit about them or yourself and why you think you need this gift.
Yeah.
And we will be reading through every single one.
Yeah. And so for us, sharing our gifts is really, we're giving away things that we've created ourselves and we're giving away our time. And that is very precious nowadays,
Yeah.
So, your gifts can be worth a lot. And not just in money, but just like the value that someone places on something like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And it's just, that's why I kind of love this time of year from Thanksgiving on to Christmas, because if you focus on those things, it could be a really cool time and it can show us what the world could look like if we did it more often,
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a short one today, but what do you have any other thoughts before we wrap this one up? Just look, spend some time. The main thing is you got to know what you love, obviously.
I have a thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is really important because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but again, just go look on Facebook. Everyone's mad. Yeah. Everyone is miserable, and I'm sorry, but that's because you're not doing things that you love all day. You're doing things you hate all day.
Yeah.
And you have only one life. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your family. Don't do that to yourself. It's your life. do what you love. And it doesn't mean quit your job, but it means think about during your free time, how you want to spend that free time, you know, doing things that you really enjoy. Forget the say no if you have to.
And we're not talking about the pursuit of, you know, short-term, you know, happiness. We're talking about the things that really give your life meaning.
For us, it's like spending time outdoors. Like we really, really crave that time in like quiet nature, just like observing that. And we haven't been doing a good job because we've been so busy. Everyone is always so busy, you know, but you have to make the time, guys, because before you know it, I mean, my Facebook tells me 5 years ago and I'm like, what? Like, I feel like my kid was just born, and that's time's going. It's going.
And when we ask our kids, you know, like we've taken them now, my boys have seen way more of the world than I saw, even 10 years older than they are now. And, you know, they've seen New York, they've seen Arizona, they've
Cuba.
Seen
Please, that was like my
Cuba.
dream.
When we had just taken them to, you know, Austin, New York, and Northern Georgia, we just would like to know, like, you know, what's your favorite trip? And it was, you know, easy for them. It was Northern Georgia, being out in the mountains, not really looking at TV.
Dean likes New York, though. He always says that he likes New York, but I feel him. I really like New York too.
But I think of that one picture we took in the morning when they were sitting.
Oh, they're so cute.
They were looking out to like the
from our mountain cottage that we got on Airbnb. For like
super cheap. Yeah,
it was like 80 rooms.
Yeah, and it was like $80.
Seriously, it was so awesome. We need to go back to that same exact cottage.
I would love to go back to that same one. That good old like musty smell that it had, like it's
so
been
good.
lived in. And you know, they're just on this swing that's hanging, you know, from a tree. And they're just looking out to the mountains, and they're just like, imagine that at that age, just looking and seeing all of this. You're just like, wow, you know, that is a memory that is like etched into their brain, you know? And so, you know, your gift, or the things that you love, of course, your passion could be being outdoors or whatever, but your gift could coincide with your passion. And so share that with other people. If nothing else, find others who share your passion and go share your passion with them and go talk about it with them and go, you know, do it with them.
When is this episode going to come out, by the way?
This episode will come out probably you know, before Christmas for sure.
Okay, so if you haven't finished your holiday shopping, I definitely challenge you to also gift someone else the gift of their gift, like an experience, something that they would enjoy, that's going to create a memory. That's not going to just get shoved into a corner. And I promise you that it will. I can 120% promise you that the plastic toy stuff is going to get played with, especially if there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's going to, I don't know how many robots I bought last year. None of them, they're all going to get put on OfferUp. So if you need a robot, let me know. But it's cool, and I get it. And I'm so grateful for technology, because modern medicine, all these things, they save lives. But too much is too much.
Yeah.
And there is decision fatigue.
I had a family member who would buy me things, like he would always ask my mom, what is the thing that I love doing at the moment? And, you know, when I was, you know, 1 year it was like an easel with, you know, for me to paint and all the painting supplies. And then, you know, later on it was a guitar, because I wanted to play the guitar. And those are things.
And that's the stuff you remember. You don't remember the.
And guess what? None of these things, like the guitar was a gift that was not new. You know, it's not a new guitar.
It was,
you know?
it was been one of his old guitars that he gave you. But still, it meant so much.
It did mean a lot to me.
To you, it's new.
Yeah. And so that is what to us like is important this season, and hopefully going into the new year, you can spend some time after the holidays, before the new year, thinking about what you're going to do next year to get closer to that, you know, pursuing that passion and sharing that gift.
Yeah. And having a plan, because if you don't plan and you put it off, it never happens. It's never going to happen. You got to literally make the time.
I was nervous about the hunting trip, because I was really excited about it, but it wasn't really real until I bought that plane ticket.
Yeah.
And when I bought that plane ticket, I was like,
you're like, this is happening.
Yeah. When Robert picked me up from the airport, I was like in the car, and I was like, man, I didn't know if this was going to happen, because, you know, we always talk about like doing these things.
You're like, we want to do this.
At the last minute, you know, things don't work out because we don't make it a priority.
Exactly.
Make it a priority.
Yeah, make it a priority.
So you have anything else you want to share?
When are we going to Yellowstone? It's like the next place. Danny was asking me this morning, where is the next place we want to go? And honestly, this earth is so huge and beautiful that it could literally be anywhere.
Yeah.
It could be in the United States. It could be Costa Rica. It could be Cuba again. Like there's like more in Cuba I want to see. Like it's just like so many places. But Yellowstone is really
Wyoming though.
Yellowstone it's been calling me for quite some time.
Yeah, we got to go to Yellowstone.
And I feel like it's not like a one day. It's not like a one-time trip. Like you go during spring one year, you go during winter one year. Like you got to see all the...
Maybe we go to Jackson Hole on the way to our house in Wyoming when we move. To Wyoming.
Danny really wants to live in I don't blame him, because I too would like to wake up on a snowy day to deer like outside my window, like hi.
Liz. That's what jumped it off this morning, because Liz Williams, the fit trainer's wife,
Traeger queen. The queen of Traeger.
Yeah, the queen of Traeger. Like they literally just got a Traeger Christmas tree ornament. It was awesome. It was
and
like
sweaters, those sweaters though.
And the sweaters and the scully caps. Yeah.
Did you see the tags that he still had on them though?
No.
Like he still had the tags on.
That's awesome.
And she says that he was so excited because he's always like, hey, you always get stuff from them. And so they finally sent him a sweater and he was like so excited to put it right
That's
on.
awesome. Liz was at her office looking out, and there were 4 deer right outside, and then she knocked on her window, and the one deer that was like in a parking space was like looking up at her, and just looked up at her, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like I don't know. Maybe that's not appealing to everyone, and that's totally cool, but to me that's pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, I'm from Miami. There's no deer there. There's just like, I don't know, what is there? There's traffic, construction. There's construction.
There's never any construction, and there is a beautiful ocean.
There is a beautiful ocean.
And when you go out there in the ocean, that's really cool. I grew up doing that, but I spoke to my dad, and I was like, when was the last time you went fishing?
Gets old.
When was the last time you went fishing though? He hadn't gone fishing in a while.
It's all you like. You don't appreciate it as much.
I could do it. I could do it all the time, but he's just changed the type of boating that he does. He goes boating and having fun.
Yeah.
But
and that's nice too.
Yeah. So in closing, just know your gifts and share your gifts. And we want to wish you guys a happy holiday season. And we just want to wish you guys a happy new year. We know that this is not the last episode of the year, but it's definitely, I guess, our holiday episode. So our first holiday episode.
What will be our last? I don't even know.
Who knows?
We're not very organized yet.
No.
We don't have things together, but it's okay.
We know who we want to talk to, and then we just schedule. So thank you guys for listening. Like always, please hit the subscribe button, and that subscribing to us and giving us a 5-star rating and review. That's what this podcast lives off of, because of course, and that's what we live off of is this subscription and this 5-star rating reviews.
And it
does
help us get like searched in the search engines and like the rankings.
And the more people that know about us, the easier we can get. We want to get like some of these people that we've read their books, and it's a little bit harder when you're like a nobody podcast. The other thing is, if you want to support what we're doing, go to patreon.com/FatFueledFamily. We got gifts that we give. We're about to come up on our first quarterly gift, and I already know what it is. I'm super excited to give it to our Patreon supporters. So in closing, just we're grateful for all of you who are listening, and we thank you for helping us grow this platform in such a short period of time. And we just want to wish you the best.
Go,